2022 county meeting. Appreciate all of you being here. I'm going to ask Chief David Dyer if he would do the invocation, please.
Sure, let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for the many blessings that you give us each and every day. Thank you for the opportunity for us all to gather together, conduct the county business. Lord, help us, lead us, and guide us, and show us all the ways that you want us to go. Please give us wisdom and understanding. And as always, please forgive us for all the times we've failed. In Jesus Christ's holy name I pray.
Amen.
Amen. I'm going to ask Bill Walker to lead us in the pledge.
Veterans run their hand salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Somewhere out of the worst time to remember the meetings. They're the simplest. Anyway, the minutes are hereby approved as presented to you, and you should all have a copy of the minutes. If you have any questions, you can let us know after the meeting. Item number 1 is a proclamation. Patrick Malone was born August the 12th, 1942 in Cleveland, Ohio, and attended John Carroll University in University Heights, Ohio. Mr. Malone married his wife, Kathy, on October 14th, 1967, and they welcomed 3 children into the family, Brian, Lance, and Sean. Patrick worked for American Greetings, moving up through the company, and they became Vice President of Sales for Hyphenex. He then became Senior Partner for the PAR Group and moved to Blairsville in 2010. Mr. Malone and his wife Kathy helped to dedicate a portion of Meeks Park to a perpetual children's memorial, and Patrick served Board of Directors for the Blairsville Union County Chamber of Commerce. He continues to contribute to community service and community involvement through 2 morning radio shows, Mountains Daybreak and Mountain Morning, as well as a weekend talk show, This Week in Blairsville. I proclaim May the 12th, 2022 is Patrick Malone Day and presented him with his proclamation on that day. Unfortunately, Patrick could not be here tonight. Item 2. I hereby accept this agreement between CHA and Union County for design and engineering services for the Roundabout project at the intersection of Pat Harrelson Drive and Deep South Farm Road, which is the hospital entrance, in the amount of $342,500. The effective date of this agreement is May 18, 2022. Union County recently received at a ceremony from Senator Gooch and from the legislature a check for $1 million from the State Road and Tollway Authority through the Georgia Transportation Infrastructure Bank grant put towards this project. And we anticipate this project to be in the $2 million range. Engineering is, again, what we're getting started with. The biggest unknown issue in this project is, as Larry Garrett told me, every utility that's in Union County on any road anywhere runs in front of this property, and so it'll be a real issue and a struggle for all the utility companies to get together and figure out how to relocate the utilities. But that's what they're in the job to do, and they'll be able to handle that. Item 3 is a notice of award. I hereby approve this notice of award contract dated May 19th, 2022 for paving through the Local Maintenance and Improvement Grant through Georgia Department of Transportation, the Colditz Trucking, in the amount of $1,280,011.20. We received 3 bids for our LMIG paving this year. C.W. Matthews was $2,214,000. Colet's Trucking, $1,733,000. Caldwell Construction, $2,053,000. I rounded those off. The roads will be paved this summer that in this project will include Cooper Gap Road, 1.18 miles, Jones Creek Road, 1.47 miles, Catoosa Creek Road, 1.27 miles, Cook Henry Road, bless you, 1.25 miles, that's the entire road. Track Rock Gap Road, 1.08 miles, Jewel Mason Road, 0.54 miles. GDOT will pay $762,000 on this, and we are required to pay $384,000, which is 30%. However, we made the decision because of the increased cost of paving to go ahead with the additional SPLOST funds and pay the additional $133,000 so that we can pave basically the same amount of miles that we paved last year, so that we try not get behind on our paving, continue as cost on paving continue to escalate, as does a lot of other things. Item number 4 is an intergovernmental agreement. I hereby accept this agreement. This intergovernmental agreement between the Blairsville Union County Chamber of Commerce and Union County for the distribution of 90% of the funds received from the hotel motel excise tax. The duration of this agreement is from January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022. This intergovernmental agreement is in compliance with the existing hotel motel ordinance. And this has been in place for several years. Item number 5. I hereby accept this lease agreement between Union County and the State Properties Commission for the Department of Juvenile Justice for the address of 76B Hunt Martin Street, Blairsville, 30512, containing 185 square feet of rentable office space. This lease amendment has an effective date of July the 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023 in the amount of $1 annually. Item number 6, a lease amendment. I hereby accept this lease amendment between the Union County and the State Properties Commission for the Department of Driver Services for the address of 149 Chase Drive, Blairsville, Georgia, 30512, containing 1,440 square feet of rentable office space. This lease agreement has an effective date of July the 1st, 2022 through June the 30th, 2023 in the amount of $1 annually. And this, of course, is what makes it possible for you to be able to get your driver's license here in Union County. Not have to go to Blue Ridge or other parts of the state. Item number 7 is an agreement. I hereby accept this agreement between Air Care and Union County for payroll deduction only for employees of Union County government to sign a membership agreement with Air Care. There is no cost to the Union County government for this agreement, as Union County is only agreeing to deduct membership fees from employees' payroll if they choose to sign a membership with Air Care. Union County will then reimburse the fees deducted to the company on behalf of the employees. This is for the other helicopter service that is over in Fannin County, and that Union County does not have the membership with. We have the entire county here that costs you nothing if you're called. But the reason this is put in here as an option, because the city went ahead and did it, and we felt like the county would go ahead and do it too, which is offer our employees what they've offered us, which I think is $65 a membership, which would mean if the current helicopter that we all have access to at no cost, if that helicopter for some reason you had a serious accident and had to be life flighted, and at the same time you were unable to use that helicopter because it was either on another mission or happened to have mechanical problems or whatever, then another helicopter from another county would have to be called in. And in that case, your agreement that we have with the hospital and the Union County Helicopter Service, which is just Air Methods. Yeah, Air Methods, the Union County Service. So this is just an option for county employees, and the general public can do the same thing if they have an interest in it. Not through the county, of course, but just individual, and it's pretty much, think about the same price. If you want that extra protection, odds are you probably will never need it, but you know, it's always possible. I'm going to ask Attorney William Mercer, Deputy County Attorney, he'd come up and talk about Ordinance number 8.
Evening, everybody. This will be the second reading of the new changes to the alcohol ordinance. We had the first reading at last month's county meeting, and then we had a public hearing a couple days ago. I'm going to run through this pretty quickly because this will be the third time I've done this. But if at the end you have any questions, feel free to ask. What we are changing first is 1076. In that ordinance section, we did not allow percentage leases for licensees. We are changing that to allow percentage leases as long as those percentages are not taken from the sale of alcohol. So alcohol has to be taken out of those percentage leases, and then they can happen. We are changing, or we're removing 1081 entirely. This is a prohibition on no coin operated gaming machines. They're kind of like fake gambling machines. Union County didn't allow that, but the state legislature came in and they overruled us. State legislature decided everyone can have these if they want it. So it's against the law for us to tell them we can't have it, so that's why we're removing it. Section 1082, this has to do with any licensee that renews their license has to be caught up on all their taxes. That's local, state, whatever. They can't be delinquent on any taxes. The licenses get approved in this county at the 1st of December. The property taxes are not due till December 20th. And so a lot of people, I wouldn't say a lot, there were some people that may have skirted by with not actually being in compliance with the ordinance because the license was approved prior to them actually having to pay their property taxes for Union County. So to fix that, we just said you have to pay it for the calendar year or else it's not going to get approved. Okay? 1076, J1 through 12, we're taking all of that out. That was for alcohol permits. Alcohol permits are different from licenses. Licenses is what an employer would get if they want to sell alcohol in one of the various ways you can sell alcohol in Union County. A permit was for any of the employees and the licensee if you were going to touch alcohol in any way. Whether that be a busboy, a store clerk, a stocker, whatever, you had to have an alcohol permit, which means you had to come here to the courthouse, you had to meet with our one alcohol enforcement officer. You had to go through training each year and a background check, which that's all well and good, but we only have one enforcement officer who does over 1,000 permits a year, and everyone has to be renewed a year. So new training, new everything else has to be done every year. This one person that does all this basically did permits all day long, every day that he was here. And so we're getting rid of this now so that he can actually go out and enforce the ordinance. Make sure everyone's in compliance with the ordinance. Now, We haven't got rid of everything altogether. Now, instead of having permits, the licensee, which would be the employer, has to do training for each new employee that's gonna touch alcohol. They have to do that within 14 days of the employee coming in to their employment, and they have to renew it before January 30th each year. And we suggest or recommend that they do a criminal background check, but it's not required. We do recommend they do one, but we're not going to require that. Section 1080, we just had to remove the permit language that was taken out of 1076. Section 1081, again, we just had to remove the permit language on both of those as well. And that would be the end of the changes to the alcohol ordinance. And I would just ask that our county commissioner officially adopt the ordinance now, so that it'll go. Oh, does anybody have any questions about this? Yes, ma'am.
Was there any revenue involved in dismissing the licenses that a dishwasher had to get?
Could you ask that one more time? I don't know if I understand it.
Collected, I mean, was it a charge for that?
There is a charge to get an alcohol license. Yes, ma'am.
But you were saying that they had to come in, if they washed tables, they had to get a permit.
A permit is different from a license. An alcohol license, a license to sell alcohol, yes, there's a fee for that.
But there wasn't for the other.
I don't believe there was ever a fee
For the permits?
Yeah.
Service permits, yes, there was a fee.
it was very minimal, was it not?
Renewal was 16, I believe, the initial first one you ever got, I think was 32.
$32 and $16.
So what was the revenue collected every year for that?
I don't know, ma'am, I don't have those numbers.
You need a budget.
Any other questions? All right.
Okay, item number 9. This is adoption. I hereby adopt the following ordinance. The first reading of the amendments to Chapter 10, Article 3 of the Union County Code of Ordinance, generally referred to as the Union County Alcohol Ordinance, was held at the April 21st, 2022 county meeting, and a public hearing was held on May 17th, 2022. There were no questions or comments from those in attendance at the public hearing. So this amendment, and we have one question today, but not significant to the amendment, to the ordinance. So this amendment is adopted as presented to you tonight. And we'd kind of explain to you when alcohol comes up, that I always have the county attorney. There's a lot of different issues in Union County that, whereas people will have the notion that a sole commissioner controls and does everything, that couldn't be further from the truth. And this is a perfect example that we don't have, really, I have nothing to do with the alcohol ordinance or the alcohol group. They do their thing, and I pretty well stay away from that. Same with the Development Authority and several other things in the county that I just, you can't be everywhere and do everything. The advantage of a sole commissioner is you get to learn and know and be aware of everything going on in the county, but it doesn't mean you know or control or do everything in the county. So just wanted to pass that little tidbit on. Item number 10 through 16 these are business licenses, and business licenses are only for rental units in the county. So we have Psychedelic Shack, 25 Woodland Hills Drive, Rockwood Rental, 288 Rockwood Trail, Waters Rental, 792 Boylestown Road, Apple Rental, 76 Horizon Drive, Bowman Rental, 27 Seminole Road, and Spooner Rental, 85 Lewis Lane. And Puga, P-U-G-A, Puga Rental, 177 Ernie Road, E-A-R-N-E-Y. So what I'm gonna do tonight is, just talk a minute about since we're talking about rental units and rental cabins, is the VRBO issue. And unfortunately, as we're in this year and day and time of, Facebook and all kind of other media forums that people can get on and say what they want to say, and there's really no, they can just literally say anything they want. And so that's kind of happened on the VRBO. There's several, I know at least a couple of sites that people have brought to me, and I don't have time to deal with them, but they were VRBO, and they're talking about how awful Union County's situation for VRBO rental was, and all the complaints and all the problems and all the noise and all the headaches for everybody in the county and all the people that are having all these problems. And it's kind of interesting. It is an issue that and may become a larger issue, but in the county government, in my office, where people call in and call, we tried to check with everyone, and I personally have talked one time to 2 people who had an issue with a VRBO across the street that had a noise issue kind of late at night. And then one other person called me about one in their neighborhood that their neighborhood was supposed to be in control of that through their ordinances or through their guidelines in the county for their own subdivision. So I can tell you here, if I've only got 2 or 3 people contacting me about a problem, it's not a problem yet. And so, whereas it may become one, and we are looking at it and working with other counties to try to figure out what's the best way to attack the problem. It's also people that come in and own homes and want to make that home, if they're not here full time, or they happen to have 2 homes and they want to make some money on it, are we going to tell them, no, you can't do that? What we are going to tell them is that if you do that, you're going to be responsible, and you have to be responsible to make sure that those people renting your property maintain and take care of it, act and treat it, and the neighbors as if it were their own neighborhood that they were in, or somebody next door to them was doing the same thing. How would you like that? So we're working on, and we'll have a comprehensive set of ordinances. There's 8 of us counties in North Georgia. I think I mentioned that last week, that have had our first meeting. We'll have another meeting hopefully in the next 30 days. And we're looking at all the issues related to growth in counties. And we're all trying to look and listen to what some of the others have done. Some of those things have worked, some of them have not worked. And so we're trying to look at the best. We've got the University of Georgia lady working with us to try to help facilitate this process. So it's something we're going to continue to be working on, but it's not an emergency. And it's not something that's all over the county and ruining our county. Now, if you happen to live next door to one and they started doing it, all we're asking you to do, call the county or call the sheriff's office if they're making noise. Until we get our ordinance done, until we get everything processed, all you gotta do is call the sheriff's department, or even call the county with a problem. But if we don't receive problems and don't hear of them, then it's really not a problem to us. We can't imagine what others are doing. So that's what I wanted to make sure tonight that you understood, and that when you read things on these different sites, realize that there's a lot of people making statements on these that are sometimes irrational, inaccurate, or downright exaggeration, or maybe sometimes they just don't understand what they're writing about. But in any case, when you read these things, and if it's an issue, and you say, oh gosh, that happened next door to me, I need to call the commissioner's office. That's what we're here for. I'm gonna adjourn the regular county meeting at this time, and then I'm gonna give you some kind of updates on several different things going on in the county.
Will there be questions and answers? Will we be able to ask questions?
And I'm, running the meeting and gonna be doing this. We did the meeting, the documents 10 to 16. So we will be, as long as, probably one per person, because I have to leave here, and I've got about 3 acres of bush hog tonight. So, I don't wanna stay here a long time, and I don't want our staff to have to stay here longer, so if you've got a legitimate question about stuff we've gone over, we'll listen to it and try to come up with a quick answer for you. Update on the gun range project. Bids are required to be in our office by Tuesday, May the 24th. And hopefully the qualified bid will be made available at the June county meeting, and the notice to proceed with construction will be made in July. We are so hopeful that those things will come along. Last year, we only received 1 bid, and we felt like it was too high, and that's why we're redoing that process and have done it for several months. We hope to get several bids this time around. Additionally, we were successful in increasing our grant funding from 75% to 90% of this project because of the hard work from local, state, and federal officials. Construction work continues on what we can announce as the new Aldi's grocery store at the intersection of Glen Gooch Bypass, Young Harris Highway, and Farmers Market Way, with completion expected in October. Last meeting I told you we didn't announce the name because they had asked the name not to be announced, but since they had a sign on this property this week, I figured it'd be okay to go ahead and tell everybody what they already knew or had heard or had assumed. But that project should be done in and around October, and they are making a lot of good progress on the grading. Grading work by the county has begun on the new convenience center that will accept recycling and garbage for the northern end of the county. It is located behind Fire Station number 4, which is near Petite Store, and will hopefully be completed within 3 months. This should be a real asset for the citizens of the northern end of Union County and prevent the drive all the way past the hospital in Blairsville to take your recycling or your trash. The roadway and pad is under construction now by the county. To access this area when it's completed, which I said I hope will be within 3 months. You will turn right at Highway 129 North, Murphy Highway, we call it, at the red light. If you turn left, you go to Notley Dam. You turn right on Ivy Log Road, and you'll go out there just maybe a quarter of a mile, cut back to the left on Moccasin Road, and then just maybe 300 or 400 yards is this new convenience center. So we're excited about it. It's going to be back out of the way. We've got the driveway where it's not impacting anybody, and it's going to be sheltered by trees back there. Plus, if you've been by the convenience center that's out at the horse arena, you see that there's no odor, no problem, no mess or anything from there, and this one will be operated in the same manner. Kind of a side note, not really directly county, but Union County school system. I was talking to one of their folks this week, and they have gone from last year 175 graduates. And if you've been around the courthouse square, you've seen the really neat pictures of all the graduates there. And this year it's gone from 175 to 210 graduates. I think that's the largest number of graduates they've ever had in their history. This is also the first time that our school enrollment has surpassed that of Fannin County. Our school is growing, which will require increased classroom space, probably in the near future. East Blast is vital for our school's future and growth. Educating our youth, bring jobs and opportunities for our county, and help provide the needed and future workforce. If we do not continue to support our schools and youth, who's going to be here for us when we get just a little bit older and we need somebody here to support us? And so we have to encourage some of these younger folks to hope that they will stay and work and make a living and have a family and enjoy life here in Union County. Our Trash to Treasures opens tomorrow, Friday, May the 20th at the Union County Farmers Market, and continues each Friday as a continuing kind of a yard sale all summer. The Union County Farmers Market begins operations Saturday, June the 4th, not this Saturday, but Saturday, June the 4th. I think that may be next Saturday, and runs throughout the summer. This is one of our most exciting facilities and operations in Union County government. I got a breakdown from our Recreation Department related to the projects that are going on at the new double gym sports center. Total, get away from that, have 202 fitness family memberships enrolled in spring session. 186 were female, 16 were men, which continues to grow in numbers. That's the men they said are continuing to grow in numbers. Class member breakdown by numbers. Advanced Strength Core, 13, and I can't tell you what all these are, but I'll just read them to you. It's a small class size due to the high impact of the class, got 13. AM Step Aerobics Combo, 27 members. AM Zumba Fitness has 29 participants. Beginning Pilots, not sure what that is, but beginner pilots, and I don't think they're flying.
It's Pilates.
Pilates, thank you. What took you so long? Fall in over there. Looks like pilots to me. It's 30, since I don't know what Pilates is or know anything about it, I guess.
It's okay.
You know, I have heard that word though, Pilates.
Very difficult, that's what it is.
Chair aerobics, I do understand that one. Fitness, 37 people. Dance jams, 16. PM step aerobics combo, 14. PM Zumba fitness, 15. Regular aerobics, 50. Beginning yoga flow, 20. We're adding in our first Tai Chi. You know what I'm talking about. Some of you do. Obviously, I don't. This class this summer, I'll have a new instructor do a demonstration of this class, which was a great success. Also, the above class numbers represent more than the total fitness members, since a lot of our members take more than one class a session, which is great. And again, that was 50. Takes one of them and 20 on the other one. Spring sports, they wanted just to give us an example of the difference in last year and this year. So football and cheerleading, and you kind of listen to this because I'm having to read them kind of backwards, so I hope I keep the numbers straight. But football and cheerleading, during 2020, we had 104. During 2021, we had 171. Ball soccer, in 2020, we had 121. This year, we had 158. Basketball, 2021, we had 240 and now 306. Baseball, softball, gone from 358 to 376. And I think spring soccer's held about the same. So we have grown. We have also added programs such as youth hiking, youth fishery day, and volleyball clinic and a camp for the 4 to 5 year olds. So I'm proud of our recreation department and all they're doing to make a more enjoyable place to live, work, and play in Union County. If we have some questions, if anybody to hold their hand up, we're gonna let you stand up so we can hear.
Okay,
I want the question pertaining to, of course, the county business.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
So regarding the short-term rentals, what you were saying before, so first I want to say, I understand that when it comes to free speech, people often will say things that are not exactly factual, and it's up to everybody else to figure out what they do and don't believe, or to ask questions to clarify, but free speech is incredibly important. It's never unfortunate. And as far as people not calling in, and there is a very important reason why in the groups that I'm seeing the people discussing about the short-term rentals, there's one in particular, I believe it's called the Union County Initiative Short-Term Rental. It's a long name, I don't remember the rest. But that group was started, and within a handful of hours, there were 150 or more people in that group. And there's one particular issue that you didn't touch on that I have been looking at, I find interesting. But before I get to that, when you're saying that people aren't calling in, I will suggest.
Again, it's a question and answer,
Mhm.
not a make
So-
a statement. So if you've got
Right.
a question, go
Well,
ahead
when
and
you
ask
make
the question,
statements that do
please.
not reflect the truth, I'm going to say something about it. So when it comes to people calling in, there is a good reason for people to feel distrustful. As I got up and spoke in November about the behaviors that I've observed of what you do to people that get up and speak out, that has gotten even worse. In fact, you did
Okay.
it to me. No, I'm not
sorry,
done.
No, you are finished.
But I have the right to redress
You
my
are-
government.
You are finished.
No, so
Yes,
in
ma'am.
fact, sir,
You
the
are
the
finished.
person that rented the
And see,
bulletin board,
we've gone through
you
this
don't want people to
several
hear the
times.
information I'm
This
saying.
lady has also come to the county and sued me for $3 million because we're treating her badly at a county
That is
meeting.
not accurate.
This is what we deal with. We've got people here that.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Things, and we're not gonna continue with
Ms.
this.
Moore,
Okay.
do you have a question?
I do,
about
in
the
fact,
RPO?
and I have the right to redress my government, and I don't need to be cut off.
This is not the appropriate time for.
Okay, it's the
for
county
grievances.
commissioner meeting, so the group is mostly putting forward the idea that corporations are buying those buildings and that, or those houses, and that they are paying for them well over asking price in cash. I don't know the facts about that, but that's what a lot of people are talking about. That's the one thing you didn't touch on. And that is a major concern because we have people that cannot afford to buy homes here, people that are from here. And so that is the biggest question that a lot of those people have and the concerns. They are also concerned about what to do about the noise ordinances, but that's the biggest one, and the biggest fear is that corporations, like 2 corporations in particular, are coming in and buying up all the property. And I find it short-sighted that you didn't add that when that is obviously a major concern.
Ms.
And
Moore, is that your
also,
question? Are corporations buying up
my
this property?
question is,
She's saying that they are buying up property and nobody's come to us and told us that.
and my question is, do you have anything in place to add to public trust so that they will call you and not be afraid of being damaged, such as the person that bought the
ma'am.
excuse me, I'm not done.
No,
You don't
you
want
are
people to
done.
hear my
You
information.
are done right now. You can either sit down and be done, or we can ask somebody to escort you out.
Are you going to
again.
unlawfully
And we don't wanna
remove
do
me
that.
from a meeting again?
We don't want to do that, but I've got other people here that have comments and questions that when I ask them, they've got legitimate questions.
Go ahead. But this is why people don't come
No,
to you.
they don't have to come to the meeting, and they
No.
don't have to call the office and talk to me. But thank goodness, you're the only person that I have to deal with that is of your caliber, and I'm sorry.
Excuse me,
This is why-
you
this is
have
why we're having
abused
this
me again
issue.
and again, but
You
all I
think-
do is ask you questions.
You
Okay,
think
okay.
you can, just a minute.
No,
You
he's
think you
defaming
can
my
come in
character.
And talk and say
It's not
anything,
okay.
But these people are all here for a
You don't
meeting
want these
about
people to
county
hear the
business
truth.
And not about your personal business.
It's not I didn't say anything about my personal business, but I would like for you to quit defaming my character.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
you are welcome to ask questions.
And I just did.
And ma'am, it seemed more like you were airing grievances.
No, I was
But
making
if we could keep
factual
it to
statements.
questions, if I could get back to what was your question?
My question is there anything in place to instill public trust so that people will come to the commissioner, such as seeing that the December meeting minutes were intentionally altered to hide the statements of the citizens makes us definitely not trust and therefore not go to and therefore organize as the people on our own?
I can tell you this, Ms. Moore.
Yes.
I can tell you this. There are some people who are going to disagree with other people, and it doesn't matter what they do, how open they are, how transparent they are. Those people are never going to think it's happening. It's up to you to determine whether you want to trust the government or not trust the
No,
government.
but he definitely
It's up
altered the
to you
meeting
to
minutes.
ask- Please let me finish.
Okay.
It's up to each citizen to call up, request information they want, ask questions. They do get answers. They do get requests. As far as implementations that you're talking about, ma'am,
Yeah.
I have never worked with another county government, and I've not worked with all, but I've worked with several, that has been more open and transparent. There's an open door policy right over here, ma'am. Anyone can walk in Monday through Friday.
But then they get abused.
Anyone can put in requests. Anyone can call. People stay around after the meetings to answer questions that aren't on the agenda. But Ms. Moore, I would ask that if you have grievances, please take them up at the appropriate time. It's not at the county meeting. The county
Okay, but
meeting is
making
to ask
statements
questions.
that are not accurate, I'm asking. I mean, for example, about the corporations, these are things that the people need to hear about. Not to be told that it's unfortunate we have free speech and are talking about falsities. Do you understand?
Ma'am, I didn't quite get all that from, and that may be your perception, okay? I didn't quite get all of that. I understand he brought up an issue that's been coming up. You're obviously invested in that issue, and that's great.
I'm paying
I
attention.
suggest that you use your First Amendment and you go talk to everyone you can in the county that says, here's this issue. We might not want corporations coming in here and buying stuff. Right now, there's no law that says anyone can't buy any property.
Right.
There's no law that says, hey, Mr. X can't come in here and buy 5 acres over here. Or Miss Y can't come over here and buy 3 acres over here. That works for corporations too, ma'am.
But can you see the distrust level when he's bringing up the subject but not approaching
Ma'am,
the actual issue?
I know that you have a distrust level, and I know there's other people.
No,
that
he
have a
altered the
distrust
December
level.
meeting minutes. It's actually a felony. But then
I don't
the
believe those meeting minutes were altered.
oh, they
but that's
are.
okay.
I can show you
So-
the evidence. But I handed you the evidence.
I think we've answered your question.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Does anyone else have a question? Sir?
I don't know who to address it to, you or Mr. Lamar, but I'm kind of on the behind the 8 ball on the whole range thing. I was just curious, did the county itself put any money into the building of the range, or was it all grant hiring?
I don't know, the county will be putting in several, Pam's not here, oh, you are here. Just give me just a general number of what the county's portion of this is gonna be.
Okay, the county, when we first started this project, the county had budgeted through the general fund $500,000 match. Because the original cost estimate, that DNR had done on the project, was that it would cost $2.4 million. They were gonna put in 75% originally, which was $1.8 million. We were gonna do $500,000, $500,000 cash match, and then $100,000 in kind for labor with the, with our county people. But then with the construction costs going up and everything, the DNR estimated the project to be more like $3.8 million roughly. And they agreed to do 90% up to and not to exceed $3.42 million, which basically, even if the bids come in at, let's say, $5 million, which God forbid, we hope they don't come in that high, 10% of that is still only the $500,000 we budgeted. So we still have that original budget amount set out of the general fund. Does that help?
Yes, well, but I guess, if you don't mind, I have a second question, because now I have information.
Oh,
so.
sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay,
As long
and you
as
can come by the
Lamar's
office
okay with it.
anytime, I'll have all the information.
Well, what I was curious was, if we're putting in money as taxpayers towards that range, what I've been told, I don't know if it's true, I'm just telling what I've been told. We have a group of people who are in charge of their ring, who are charging a monthly fee. Is that so?
I'm not familiar with the operations of I'm just familiar with the project.
The
We can
operations
find
is
that out.
not set yet, but there will be a fee for some people to use it at certain times. I mean, there's gonna be like a membership fee because the gun club is the one that's donated the money. All those members have donated tens of thousands of dollars to try to get this thing up to where we are now. So they're the ones that have pushed it all the way along. And so it's a simple matter of, if you're gonna be out there shooting today, somebody's gotta be out there to watch the range to make sure nobody's doing anything damaging it or anything, and somebody's gotta pay for that. We don't think the county should have to pay for that. The users would pay for that, but they also feel like there'll be enough users and enough fees from that won't be an issue. But we have to rely on what's coming. We've never done a gun range before. This is the first time we've done one, and we've had 500-600 people in that gun club, and so.
Is there anybody
Is
from
it
the
gonna
county
be
gonna monitor it?
prohibitively expensive? I do not think so, no. Because obviously if it is, nobody would go, and that would defeat the whole purpose of having a gun range.
Is anybody from the county gonna monitor though, how much things start?
Absolutely. The
And
county will monitor it totally from beginning to end.
is the county gonna get back any of that money that's put in for annual fees or monthly fees or however it's gonna be?
I can't tell you that because we don't know yet how much we're gonna have in it, and we don't know what those monthly fees are gonna be. And we don't know what those monthly costs are gonna be yet. So, I know it's easy to say, hey, why don't you know every detail of this?
I know, trust me,
You can't.
I just didn't know
trying
how
to-
far along you were with that part of it.
Yeah, we're trying to provide a service for the community that's been a request. It's like everybody doesn't shoot a gun, everybody doesn't shoot basketball, and everybody doesn't play pickleball. Although I think just about everybody's starting to play pickleball. But
Thank you, sir.
anyway, that's what we work with. We try to do the best we can. Again, with the horses, everybody doesn't ride a horse. And most of those things don't make money. We try to provide a service at the most reasonable price and try to get as much cost as possible back. Even in their youth sports, they pay a fee to play on the baseball team or a basketball team. It doesn't anywhere near cover the cost, but it helps cover that cost. Anybody, Mr. Dyer? Oh, you already covered it, okay. Yes, ma'am.
Stand up. My question, and then I got a preface, so. The question is, did you or anybody in the local county government put a proposal in to purchase the 580 acres that the hospital had for sale?
No.
And the reason that I'm asking that.
That's all right.
I think I'm in court. Should run around. That's not on the agenda, and that wasn't even spoken about tonight, but if you want to submit your question to the commissioner's office, you will get an answer. Do you have a question that was on the agenda or something that he mentioned in the comments?
No, that was my question, but I wanted to say why I asked that question.
Go ahead and ask why you asked that.
Yeah, because in the local paper on July 29th of 2020, you said that you would like to purchase, you would like to have the county purchase the 580 acres from the hospital if it was ever sold. And it would require about $6 million and would be a significant investment via development in the county. So I was just asking because the property did come up for sale.
I would have loved for Union County to have bought that property, and if it was just me, if I was that dictator that some people like to say a sole commissioner is, I would have just gone on and bought it, because I thought then, and I still think it would have been one of the best things I could have done for Union County's future. But the cost was prohibitive, I felt like, and that the public wouldn't go along with spending that much money because they wouldn't understand what we were trying to do and how we were trying to provide some housing for people and provide other things for public that we couldn't do. But in any case, we bowed out of that before it ever went to sale. We have absolutely nothing to do except we still own the house on the property.
So the answer is no to my question.
Yeah, and we'll be, And it'll be available for sale to the person who's buying the property, whoever that turns out to be. Okay, another question? Okay, thank y'all very much for coming. See you next month.
Such a little girl, you sure did. For such a little girl, you sure did cause a lot.
A lot of because of.
You said it was four or five cops.
Oh. For what?
To take you.
Because what did I do? I asked about things on.
I'll be in touch with it.
I asked
Thank
about
you.
things on the agenda.
Thanks.
Period. They were all relevant to what he was talking about.